He told Angela to kneel on the white cloth so that the prayer could begin. Angela moved towards the cloth. Obralulum was still holding her hand. They both knelt down together, and in one single moment, they were gone. The mat gave way, the white cloth gave way, and Angela Carey and her 10-year-old daughter Obralulum fell straight into a 20-foot pit in the dark.
I'm so sorry, but I have to make this video this way. Yesterday, this might be a news that people have come across it, so know a lot about. I've heard about it before, but I was just hearing about this particular news yesterday, and I can't lie to you. When I heard the news, it was in the night around 12 o'clock when I was just scrolling down my phone, and then I come across this news. And the thing, I was crying. I was crying to the point that I did not even sleep. I couldn't just sleep. Even now, as I'm making this video, I'm having headaches because it's been running in my head. The wickedness that people do in this life just for selfish gain. We must learn to be contented with what we have. We must learn to be contented. We must learn to control ourselves on our selfish interests. That thing that is so much holding you too tight, so strong. Try to let it go. Try to free your mind. That's why I choose to belong in God. I choose to serve God because most of the time whenever I'm hearing God's words like that, it used to calm my spirit down. I don't put my mind so much solely on the things of this world. So please just listen to the video. I know you'll be very upset, but try also and listen to it. You'll get something from there too.
Picture this. A woman who spent over 35 years of her life serving her country, climbing the ranks of one of Nigeria's most powerful government agencies, driving fine cars, owning properties, living a life that most people could only dream about. From the outside, Angela Carey had everything. But Angela had a secret pain, a hunger that no amount of money, no promotion, no piece of property could ever fill. And it was that pain, that one deep private wound that a wicked man would use to destroy her. Let us go back to the beginning. Angela Uzo Carey was a retired Assistant Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service. She had served for over 35 years before retiring. She lived in the new Okoba area of Lagos State, a respectable woman in her community. She had properties, she had savings, she had a lifestyle that showed years of hard, dedicated work. By every measurement, Angela Carey was a success story. But there was one thing she did not have, a biological child of her own. Angela had adopted a young girl named Obralulum Carey, a 10-year-old child she loved deeply and treated as her own. But even with Obralulum in her life, the desire for a child she carried in her own body would not leave her alone. It grew stronger every year, and by the time she was in her 60s, that desire had become something closer to an obsession. Angela began visiting pastors and spiritual healers, spending money believing that if she prayed hard enough and paid enough, a miracle would come. And over the years, she spent an enormous amount. Reports later revealed that Angela had paid various pastors and spiritual figures an estimated 15 million naira alone before she even met the man who would end her life. That man was Alhaji Olatunji Azeez. Alhaji Olatunji Azeez was a 64-year-old herbalist and traditional medicine practitioner from Oyo State. He had been practicing for about 30 years by the time Angela crossed his path. He was married to 3 wives and had 5 children. He lived and worked in Iriakari Crescent, Ajuwon, Akute, in Ogun State, a place that would later become the site of one of the most disturbing crimes in Nigerian true crime history. The two of them first met around 2008, about 6 years before everything fell apart. Angela had come down with a strange illness that was confusing everyone around her. Her skin was turning dark and itching constantly, and nobody could explain what was happening to her. That was when a friend introduced her to Azeez. Azeez examined Angela and told her something that would lock her into his world for years. He said she was suffering from a spiritual attack in the Yoruba tradition. According to him, Wicked people had sent something harmful her way, and it was eating at her from the inside. He prepared his treatments for her, and remarkably, or perhaps by coincidence, the condition went away. Angela was amazed. She was grateful, and from that moment, she trusted this man completely. She made him her spiritual father. She began consulting him for everything, not just serious problems, but common headaches, minor discomforts, and life decisions. Her trust in Aziz was total, and Aziz knew it. 4 years later, in 2012, Angela came back to Aziz with her most desperate request of all. She told him she wanted medicine that would help her become pregnant and carry her own biological child. By this time, Angela was in her mid to late 60s, a fact that made the request medically impossible. Aziz himself later admitted that he tried at first to tell her the truth. He told her that if she had come to him when she was 50, maybe something could have been done, but at this age, it was simply too late. Angela refused to hear it. She told him that pastors and prophets had already confirmed to her that she would carry her own child. She believed it with everything inside her. She insisted that Aziz was the one chosen to make that prophecy come true. And then, Aziz discovered something that changed everything. He found out how much she had already spent. 15 million naira, gone, paid to various men of God and spiritual leaders who had promised her a child and delivered nothing. And she still had more to give. Aziz later confessed exactly what went through his mind. He said he thought, if I don't collect this money, someone else will. So he changed his tone. He told Angela that yes, he could help her. He told her it would cost 10 million naira to prepare the special medicine she needed. Angela began paying. She came with 1.7 million naira the first time, then she kept coming back, paying in parts over months. She paid a total of 9 million naira directly for the so-called pregnancy medicine. But that was not all. Reports from the Lagos State Police Commissioner revealed that over time, Aziz had taken from Angela in cash and property an amount estimated at over 200 million naira. Properties, cars, cash. And what did Angela get in return? Nothing. No pregnancy, no miracle, just false hope and empty bottles of useless concoctions. Aziz prepared his fake treatments. Angela took them faithfully. She even told him she had started seeing signs of her body changing. He encouraged her to keep going, telling her to be patient, to meet with a man, to keep believing. She invited one of her male friends from London to Nigeria. The man visited, spent time with her, and left. Still, no pregnancy. By April 2014, Angela had had enough. She came to Aziz and told him she was done. She had paid 9 million naira and there was nothing to show for it. She wanted her money back, all of it. And that was when everything changed. When Angela Kerry told Alhaji Olatunji Aziz that she wanted her money back, she was not whispering. She was not politely asking. Angela was a former senior government official. She had connections, she had strength, and she had spent a fortune on this man's lies. She was angry, and she made sure he felt it. Aziz told her bluntly, the money cannot be returned. It had already been used. Angela did not accept that answer. She told him she would come back with full force. Aziz thought she was exaggerating at first. They had never fought before. Their relationship had always been one of trust, almost like family. But Angela was not joking. She came back again, this time with her adopted daughter, Obra Lulum, beside her. She demanded her money with even greater intensity. Aziz became nervous. He knew that Angela was a retired customs officer, a woman with government connections, possibly access to firearms, and definitely the kind of network that could cause him serious problems. He began to feel genuinely afraid. A few days later, Angela came again. This time, Aziz scraped together 2.5 million naira and gave it to her. But Angela wanted the full balance. She told him she would be back for the remaining 6 million naira, and when she came back, she said it would be hell. Think about where Aziz now stood. He had taken over 200 million naira from this woman in cash, properties, and valuables. He had nothing left to give back, and the woman coming after him was someone with connections, a history of being serious, and a growing rage that was not going away. He could not pay her, and he was terrified of what she would do. That was when Aziz made a decision that crossed a line no human being should ever cross. He began to plan. First, he hired a team of well diggers. He brought them to his compound at Iriakari Crescent in Abuja, Akute, Ogun State, and told him he wanted a well dug inside one of the rooms in his house. The diggers found the request unusual. Who digs a well inside a room? But Aziz paid them and they asked no more questions. They dug a pit 20 feet deep. It took them 3 days to complete. Aziz paid them 30,000 naira and sent them away. He made sure the sand they removed was kept nearby, piled in the compound, ready to be used again. After they left, Aziz got to work. He covered the mouth of the deep pit with a mat. Then he placed a white cloth over the mat. To anyone walking into that room, it looked like a prayer spot, the kind of place a traditional practitioner would kneel to make spiritual offerings. Nothing about it said danger. Nothing about it said death. The trap was set. Now, all he needed was to get Angela to stand on that spot. He called her. He told her to come on Saturday, the 10th of May 2014. He told her he had the money ready. He would give her the balance she was owed. Angela believed him. If you are watching this and you have not yet subscribed to this channel, this is the moment. Hit that subscribe button right now. Angela woke up that morning with one goal. She was going to collect her 6 million naira. She had already made the plan in her mind. Get the money, finish this business with Aziz once and for all, and move forward. She and Obralulum had plans. She had told Aziz herself that she needed the money partly to help fund travel plans. She was considering relocating abroad with her daughter to start fresh. Aziz had planned to handle Angela alone. Later, during his confession, he said clearly that he had told her not to bring her daughter. But Angela refused. She said she goes everywhere with her mother. The little girl went everywhere with her mother. They were inseparable. So Angela dressed herself and her 10-year-old daughter, and together they climbed into her Toyota Camry and drove towards what they believed was a simple money exchange, a woman going to collect what was owed to her, nothing more. Nobody saw them after that. Back at the house in Ajuon, Akute, Aziz was waiting. When Angela arrived with Obralulum, he received them calmly. He put on his most gentle, most spiritual face. Angela had come ready to fight, but Aziz did not give her anything to fight against. He was soft, he was sorry. He told her he was going to settle everything, that he just needed a moment, that God would sort it all out. He told her they should pray together first. Angela was a woman of faith. Even through all of this, even through the betrayal, the wasted money, the lies, she still believed in prayer. And Aziz knew that. He had studied her for years. He knew exactly which door to open. He said, "Let us go to the backyard and pray together. I will give you your money right after." Angela agreed. She took Obralulum by the hand and followed him. Aziz tried one more time to separate them. He told Angela to leave the girl outside, but Angela held her daughter's hand tighter. She said, "She goes where I go." They walked through the compound towards the room where the white cloth lay spread across the floor. Aziz positioned himself carefully, away from the covered pit. He told Angela to kneel on the white cloth so that the prayer could begin. Angela moved towards the cloth. Obralulum was still holding her hand. They both knelt down together, and in one single moment, they were gone. The mat gave way, the white cloth gave way, and Angela Kerry and her 10-year-old daughter Obralulum fell straight into a 20-foot pit in the dark.
20 feet is not a small distance. That is almost the height of a 2-story building, measured going straight down into the earth. That is how far Angela Kerry and her daughter fell when the mat collapsed beneath them. Aziz looked over the edge of the pit. In his own confession, he described what he saw. Angela sitting at the bottom of the well and Obralulum standing. The fall had not immediately ended them. They were alive down there in the dark, in a pit inside a room in a man's house. And then Aziz began to pour sand. He grabbed buckets from the pile the well diggers had left behind. One bucket, then another, then another. He poured roughly 50 buckets of sand down into the pit. He was trying to bury them alive, to cover what he had done and remove the only 2 people who could ever tell anyone what had happened in that compound. He said he stopped after 50 buckets because he was tired and because night was falling. So Aziz did something that will disturb you deeply. He went to the mosque to pray. He left 2 people buried in a pit in his own house and went to pray. When he returned later that evening, around 6:30 p.m., he looked back into the pit and he saw something that shook him. Obralulum was near the surface of the sand. This 10-year-old girl had been fighting for her life. As the sand came down on her, she had been climbing. She had been pushing through it, rising with the level of the sand, refusing to give up. When Aziz peered down and saw her near the top, he understood that she was still alive and that she had to be silenced. He removed his jacket, he went back to work. He dropped heavy cement blocks down into the pit until the girl went still. Then he continued pouring sand until the pit was completely full. The next morning, Aziz called a bricklayer. He paid the man 2,000 naira to come and cement the floor over the spot. No questions asked. The bricklayer sealed the floor. What had been an open pit 20 feet deep was now a solid cemented floor in a room in a man's house. Then Aziz turned to the other evidence. Angela had come in her Toyota Camry. He could not leave the car sitting in his compound. That was a problem. He drove the car to Jankara Market, then handed it off to a car dealer in Lagos to help him sell it. He also took Angela's personal belongings, documents, phones, and other items and stashed them in a traveling bag before sealing it in the pit beneath the bodies. He thought he had covered everything.
So, please, you need to understand something, that some people came back into your life and asked for forgiveness so they can get close to you again and destroy you finally, and destroy everything that concerns your name. That's why they came back and asked for forgiveness so that you can get close to you and destroy finally. So this is the thing. You can forgive, but don't forget. Why you shouldn't forget is because so you not make the mistake of letting those people destroy you again. If this person coming back and asking for forgiveness, is he truly genuine, or is he or her truly remorseful? So for you forgiving them, you have to give them benefits of doubt, right? But at the same time, keep your distance. You have to be fully understand that they are truly forgiving, and that they have truly changed, they have truly adjusted their behaviors. Try to be conscious of your life, of your family, of things around you. You see, some people in this life, they can never change. They can never change. They keep doing more and more evil, and they have many manipulative ways to engage what they want, to destroy someone's life.
Meanwhile, Angela's family was waiting. She had left that Saturday morning and had not come back. By evening, nothing. By Sunday, nothing. Her relatives began calling her phone. No answer. They visited places she might have gone. Nothing. The concern grew heavier with each passing day. 3 weeks passed with no word, no sign of Angela, no sign of Obralulum. On June 13th, 2014, over a month after they disappeared, Angela's younger sister Susan finally went to the police. She reported both Angela Kerry and her daughter Obralulum missing at the Oko Oba Police Division in Lagos State. The investigation began. The police had very little to go on, but then someone in the family remembered something critical. Angela's Toyota Camry had a tracking device installed. They contacted the tracking company, and together with the police, they activated the device and traced the vehicle. The signal led them to a car dealer's lot in Lagos. When the police found the car dealer, they asked him how he got the vehicle. He told him a man brought it to him to sell, a man named Alhaji Olutonji Aziz. The police moved immediately. They located Aziz and took him in for questioning. What followed was one of the most dramatic and emotionally charged police interrogations reported in Nigeria that year. Aziz performed. There's no other word for it. He cried, he called on God, he told the police he was innocent, that Angela brought the car to him and asked him to help her sell it. He said she left his compound that day with her daughter and he never saw her again. He begged the officers to believe him. He said the truth would set him free. Some people watching even began to feel sorry for him, but the commander leading the investigation, then working with the Special Anti-Robbery SARS at the Lagos State Police Command, was not moved. Something was not adding up. The police transferred the case to SARS for deeper investigation, and the questioning continued. For 6 straight days, Aziz maintained his story. 6 days of crying, praying, and performing innocence. On the 6th day, he cracked. He admitted, quietly at first, that he knew where Angela and Obralulum were. He said he had put them in a room somewhere in Ogun State, but when the police prepared to travel to investigate, he became hesitant, reluctant, clearly uncomfortable. That was when the investigators pushed harder. And then the full confession came. Aziz told them the truth. He told them that Angela Carey and her daughter Obralulum were in his compound, buried under the floor of a room in his own house.
When two people are in the battle for it, anyone that first attack is the victory. So I went to the backyard. She wasn't entered to that place before. So I put the mat on that. Yes. Cover it with the white cloth, as she normally saw in my other temple. I went before her. I said, okay, you normally know what we are going to do. Go and stand there and kneel down. Let's pray together. So any drug I say, I give it to you. He said, but it's not for the pregnancy again. I said, yes, for your health. And she went there, matched the white cloth on the mat, and fell into the pit. That is how everything was ended.
Police detectives followed Alhaji Olatunji Aziz back to his home at Ire Akari Crescent, Ajuon Akute, Ogun State. They entered the compound where Angela Carey had walked in on the morning of May 10, 2014 and never walked out of again. Aziz led the officers through the compound to the boys' quarters at the back. He pointed to a spot on the cemented floor. "Dig there," he said. The officers began digging. They broke through the cement layer first, then they hit earth and they dug deeper. 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, the standard depth for a grave, and nothing. The officers grew frustrated. They looked at Aziz with eyes that said, "Are you playing with us?" Aziz held firm. He told them to keep going. It was a very deep well, he said. Keep digging. At about 8 feet down, they hit something. A traveling bag. Inside the bag were documents, phones, and personal belongings. Everything was identified. It all belonged to Angela Carey. The officers kept digging. A few feet deeper, they found the first body. It was Obralulum Carey, 10 years old, the little girl who had refused to climb even as sand poured down on her, the brave child who had fought her way up through the earth with her own small hands until a grown man dropped blocks on her head to stop her. She was gone. The officers kept digging. Deeper still, they found Angela Carey at the very bottom of the pit. Her remains had been there since May. The heat, the sand, the water, her body had been deteriorating for over a month by the time they reached her. The scene at that compound that day broke every officer who witnessed it. Aziz was formally paraded at the Lagos State Police Command in Ikeja on June 23, 2014, before the Lagos State Police Commissioner, Umar Manko. Journalists gathered, the cameras rolled, and Aziz stood there, not crying anymore, not calling on God, and told his story in plain language with a calm that disturbed everyone present. He said he had been a traditional medicine practitioner for 30 years. He confirmed his relationship with Angela. He confirmed that she had paid him enormous amounts of money, and then he said the words that told you exactly the kind of man you were looking at. He said, "I knew that if I didn't end her life, she would end mine first, so I acted first." He tried to frame a cold-blooded double killing as self-defense, a 68-year-old woman demanding money that was rightfully hers, and a 10-year-old child who had done nothing at all, framed as a threat that left him no choice. It was a lie, and the law saw it for what it was. Angela's elder brother, Dr. Mike Carey, a university lecturer, spoke on behalf of the family. He said clearly, if the family had wanted Angela's wealth for themselves, they would have acted when she retired in 2004. He believed there were accomplices. Reports from the time mentioned that police arrested Aziz alongside 2 other individuals, Ahmed Sholutan and Waliu Akini, suggesting the crime may have been wider than one man's plan. The Lagos State Police Commissioner confirmed that investigations had been concluded and that Aziz would be charged to court for murder. Under Nigerian law, murder carries the death penalty. Aziz was remanded in custody to await trial. The case also revealed the full scale of what Angela had lost. Over the course of their relationship, Aziz had taken from her, in cash, in property sales, in one fraudulent spiritual service after another, an amount estimated at over 200 million naira. Properties in Lagos, cash payments, valuables, a lifetime of savings, drained by a man who looked her in the eye, called himself her spiritual father, and took everything she had. And when there was nothing left to take, and she came asking for even a fraction of it back, he built a pit and buried her in it. Let us sit with this story for a moment, not just with the horror of it, but with what it teaches us. Angela Carey was not a foolish woman. She was educated, she was accomplished, she had served her country for 35 years, she had built a life with her own 2 hands, but she had a pain that she carried alone, a desperate, burning desire, and that pain made her vulnerable. And there are people in this world who look for exactly that kind of vulnerability. They do not see a woman in need, they see a target. Alhaji Olatunji Aziz did not stumble into this crime. He built it step by step over years. He earned her trust first, then he used that trust to drain her. When the well ran dry and she came asking for what was hers, he chose to take something far more precious from her than money: her life and the life of a 10-year-old child who had done absolutely nothing wrong. Obralulum Carey was 10 years old. She went with her mother because that is what she always did. She had no idea, she had no say. And in the darkness of that pit, as sand rained down on her, this 10-year-old girl fought for her life with everything she had. That detail alone should stay with all of us. Here are the lessons we carry from this story.
No matter how gifted or spiritual someone seems, if they are asking you to pay money for miracles that only God can perform, run. A true healer does not need your property. A genuine spiritual guide does not need your car. When someone starts naming prices for pregnancies and blessings, they are not working for God, they are working for themselves. Trust is built over time and it can be weaponized. Aziz spent years earning Angela's trust before he began taking from her. The longer someone spends building your confidence in them, the more carefully you should watch what they do with that confidence. Never let desperation make your decisions. Angela's desire for a child was real and it was human. But desperation is one of the most dangerous states a person can be in because it makes us willing to believe things we would never normally believe. Anyone who tells you they can fix the one thing you are most desperate about, be very, very careful. And always tell someone where you are going. Angela Carey drove to that compound alone with her daughter, and no one knew the full details of where she was headed. If someone had known, if a relative had accompanied her, or if she had told someone the exact address she was visiting, it may not have saved her life, but it would have brought help sooner. To every viewer watching right now, this story is not just a crime story. It is a warning. It is a mirror. Real people lost their lives here. A family was destroyed. A 10-year-old girl who deserved to grow up and live her life was taken in the worst possible way, in the dark, by someone who saw her only as a loose end. What are your thoughts on this case? Does what happened to Angela and Obralulum Carey make you angry? Does it break your heart? Does it make you think about someone in your own life who might be in a similar situation with someone claiming to offer miracles? Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Tell us what you think should have happened to Alhaji Olatunji Aziz. If this story moved you, please share this video, not for views, but because someone watching right now might be in a situation exactly like Angela's, paying someone, trusting someone, believing in a miracle that is never coming. And this story might be the thing that opens their eyes.
It's very good in this life to control ourselves on the things of this world. That's why if you're reading God's way, you notice that most of the times your mind will be calm, you will relax your mind on the things of this world. It's good to always let go. That if something is choking you too much in the throat, just try to let it go for some time. Breathe.
Whispering sweet promises, it'll all be alright. There's a cabin by the river where I love